Here
It's the
it comes.
Australians.
Thug Shaker Central, otherwise known as the Aussies, and I'm not gonna lie, both of us are probably going to continually refer to them as the Aussies because it's much easier than Thug Shaker Central because I'll just wind up laughing and possibly get in trouble at work. So we have Jaime, Rauger Moon, Rackday Moment, Tipsy Mountain, Elemental Roach, Aqua Hoshino, and Horizon. Elemental Roach.
Meanwhile, on the other team, under the Eelfluence, some of the stronger players in North America as well. On their team, we've got Toma Kote, Emma Same, Zeke Eoza, Golden Hour, Venaire Sylvia, Aslanso, and Sir Zarek. God, just a superstar team on both sides. Now, on one hand, we've got the Australian team who have been working together, are inside of their own heads, and have been know each other's sync almost to the letter for basically the entire time they've been playing, and they've been playing FF14 PvP for a really long time. Meanwhile, we've got under the Eelfluence, which is not just made up of a bunch of very, very strong historical players, but also newcomers to the CC team working together. Some of the strongest players in both Aether and Crystal coming together to try to prove their worth. It's going to be interesting to see who ends up winning this match. Looks like,
and we are seeing Sir Zarek being deployed into this match as well. Sometimes, you know, our last week's tournament, unfortunately, I think he had to go to work, so he was not there when Big 3 faced off against Wolfus.
it's also really important to remember that Sir Zarek has there are multiple people in the PvP community whose characters' names are Sir Zarek. So just so you know, if you've ever seen Sir Zarek die, that's not actually the real Sir Zarek.
No, it's not. Everyone knows the real Sir Zarek is the Balmung Sir Zarek.
Now, the interesting
thing
about
not asking you for 1,000,000 gil, it's not the real Sir. That's how you know. If you ask, hey, you want 1,000,000 gil, and they're like, nah, that ain't the man.
God, it's interesting to note here, while Sir Zarek has made his name on his ability to use Paladin effectively, he's also been tearing it up in solo queue with Dancer, to the point where this has basically become his most played, at least in recent seasons. So while this is not a common pick we've seen inside of LP, it's also not unfamiliar for him, and he's still pulled it out in a couple scrims, in a couple tournaments, I believe. Meanwhile, on Team Astra, we've got the Australians,
who have just completely spammed chat with some sort of history of how people were sent to Australia as part of the penal program of the British government.
That's true.
They just linked Wikipedia.
Send him back. All right, we are opening up with Sir Zarek putting that dance partner onto their team's bar, trying to keep him up a little bit longer. Meanwhile, the Australian team puts that dance partner onto the Hime, onto the Dark Knight, so that he can live forever. We're going to see whether or not this fight ends up going explosive, but it seems like Team Umbra gets the initial push onto the checkpoint, but it seems like nobody really wants to walk up and full commit.
No, but here we go. Battle is joined. It looks like they're on Horizon, who is in guard, but also low, now out of guard, having baited potentially the initial burst. Rackday Moment also being hit hard. Trade. White Mage for Bard, who will go next. Venaire. No, Venaire doesn't appear to be the target. I don't know who the target is. Sir Zarek is apparently the target. Will his body clone jutsu go down in his place? A Gunbreaker LB already ripping on Jaime, but no kill. Oh, nope, I stand corrected. There goes the kill. Sir Zarek still getting beat up. Will he survive? It does look like the answer is yes. He's going to get an elixir, unless Horizon running deep, trying to get that pick, but not going to make it in time to stop that elixir.
God, it's just a really, really tight performance from Team Umbra, just being able to keep Sir Zarek alive. Oh, Zeke goes down.
Zeke does go down. Sir Zarek has that Dancer LB. Will they shut him down before he's able to let that rip? Oh, Turbulence coming. There it is. He's going to try to guard strip. He doesn't. Oh, he does manage to make it. And four enemies
members of the Australian team go up in the air. The White Mage goes down, a huge damage on them, but they still got the LBs. Can they turn this into a decisive win?
LBs, and they've got Dark LB too to buy some extra time that might make up for the lack of healing. They also have that Ninja LB and Dancer LB to follow up. Venaire going down. Venaire low. Will she survive?
Possibly living?
Is she going to?
At 6,000, the chain has begun.
Goes Dark LB to the back of the head to try to finish off Venaire, and they do succeed. Down goes Sir Zarek. Jaime quite low, coming out of Eventide. Are they going to heal? No, they're not. That might have been a latency moment, unfortunately, for the Aussies. Tomokote has or is Miracle of Nature. They are trying to retreat. They are low on mana, but they managed to go down. looking like the Aussies might be about to pull back some momentum here, but Rake Moment taking a beating. Zeke going down. It does look like the Aussies are going to finally return the favor and advance up, and they are sending members ahead. Doesn't look like we're going to see anyone advance too far.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they're going to commit to that. But the fact that Team Umbra has that Bard LB rolling, and the fact that their LBs are so fast charging, especially on that Gunbreaker, really says a lot about just how much, how able they are to constantly rip these LBs. They're going into Amatihime.
They are hard on Hime, who doesn't have LB, is going to wind up being a little squishier for it, and also might just try to use most of their abilities to survive rather than for damage. Down goes Rake Moment. Venaire getting beat up. Venaire goes down before they are able to heal. Oh, it is anyone's guess right now. It is quite equal. We've got one tank on each side with 3 DPS. Horizon going down.
Ralgamoon's about to get that LB going.
Aqua Hoshino and Sir Zerek's LB going off. It is a dance off. Sir Zerek going to go down, but so is Aqua. Jaime going down.
Major LBs used. Oh,
yeah, but Ralgarmoon still holding Ninja LB. Zeke also has Ninja LB. That could be all either side needs, given how great their burst is to try to turn around the next engage, you know?
Yeah. In contrast with the last game, which really focused on heavy slugfest, not necessarily being able to secure massive advantages, this is back and forth. Just instant damage on both teams to kill almost the entire team and secure 50% and 50% checkpoint. It's still anyone's game.
Stopping the crystal from making it to checkpoint. He is trying not to let the...
the poly?
The poly, but Ralgarmoon making it out. Horizon has LB and Turbulence in 2 seconds. Who will go flying, if anyone? We're seeing 2 people, 1 from each side. Emma manages to grab a feather while Ralgarmoon, unfortunately, is going to pay a price. He goes down with that very needed LB.
Seitan Chain is rolling. Zeke's got 1 second left on it. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to get a reset on it because of the miracle of nature, but it seems, are they going to be able to secure it with the numbers advantage, even though they're looking down? Horizon goes down, not able to rip the LB. Even though they're facing down 2 LBs, they still got the numbers advantage and still have the positional advantage. They might be able to win the game here.
Jaime and Rake have the Dark White Mage combo that could significantly mess up the team if nailed correctly, but the fight is going on behind the wall here, which is incredibly dangerous, but it does seem to pay off as Aqua Hoshino goes down, forcing stagger on the Aussies. Meanwhile, the point is being held by Venaire and Jaime, neither likely to kill each other. Sir Zerek going down. And Jaime goes down before they are able to LB. That is super unfortunate, and we just saw a whiff from Ralgarmoon on the Seitan. Horizon continuing to hold that bar LB. Very odd. You really kind of want to let that rip and get the team the advantage, but also they're probably concerned they're about to die the second they rip it, which is also reasonable. But Zeke goes down. This is... we are seeing the crystal being moved by Rake Moment, the White Mage, and it looks like Venaire and Emma are going to try to hold them down. Sir returning to the fight. Rake retreating as they realize that the time is up.
Yeah,
Tomo, low mana, getting beat up in DPS junction. Might go down, does go down. Oh man,
just a
anyone's both dancer LBs.
Just a rough moment for under the Eelfluence, despite the fact that they had a numbers advantage.
Dancer LB going out.
Dancer LB going out.
Emma, will they go down? Rake Moment following up with White Mage LB. Emma does go down. Advantage to the Aussies at the moment. Venaire being run down by the Dark Knight. Words are hard. Sir Zerek going down before he's able to let rip the Dancer LB. Rake Moment in slight trouble, but it looks like Venaire's in bigger trouble. Down goes Venaire. There are 2 members holding it in for Eelfluence. That is Tomo is let rip Gunbreaker LB. This could be huge. Jaime still holding on to that Dark LB, not wanting to let it rip until they absolutely have to at this point.
Team Umbra's in a really rough position, especially considering how dominant they were earlier. Diving in deep doesn't necessarily get you anything if you get kills, if you're not able to get that checkpoint push. And one person,
the Aussies pulled back and just elixired. So they gave up the momentum advantage, but they did get back all the mana advantage, and they have the LB advantage. So going in here, down goes Emma. Sir Zerek miracled as soon as he starts his Dancer LB. Not going to be able to tap anyone to continue it. 2 down. White Mage LB goes out. Tomokote low. Tomokote out of mana. In guard. Purify burned. Tomokote probably not long for this world once they get out of that guard. Aqua Hoshino, meanwhile, has Dancer LB coming right up. This could be the finisher. Tomokote getting away with 1,000 health. Will they make it out? 7,000 health. Down they go.
Tomo living for so long, but unfortunately dying at the very
Aqua
end.
Hoshino's Dancer LB. Zeke, probably the kill target, has the Ninja LB coming up. They might not want to let him get that up. Down he goes. Emma Same next.
Emma Same, the next target, sitting in guard, possibly looking out. Do they have Purify? Do they have the ability to cleanse themselves of those CCs? It doesn't look like they're going to be able to get it off. Dies before that ends up happening. Team Umbra's been at a numbers disadvantage for the last number of minutes.
First round just to like the Aussies.
God, just a really, really tight game from both sides with a 21-14 scoreline, really betraying just how close this game really was. I'm going to be honest, I don't super think Paladin is definitely the pick for this composition. I think it's been vaguely effective. It's just a lot of that game ended up boiling down to that single moment where they decided to chase down into the enemy spawn. We'll see whether or not... Oh, hold on. Oh no, Hori-san. Okay, Hime is still on the Dark Knight. Okay, looks like team compositions are basically the same, but with the tighter corridors. Do you think this advantages anyone? It might. I feel like this loosely.
I mean, they're essentially mirror comps. So, I mean, Tomokote's Gunbreaker LB obviously very nasty in the corner, but also Jaime's Salted Earth on a faster cooldown can be really dominating in those corners. So, both have an advantage. They're different advantages, and they're at different periodicities. So, it'll really depend on where the fights kind of take place primarily, you know?
Yeah, even with the low kill count, even with the kill discrepancy, even with the damage discrepancy, under the Eelfluence was really putting in work, almost winning the game off of just percentage push alone. It really goes to show you just how important macro play is and how damage numbers don't always tell the full story. That said, we're going in.
We see a split push by the Aussies going around the corner. Hori-san going down.
Hori-san going down, Zeke and Polymorph, but the focus target is Emma. Emma manages to get out. That major cooldown being burned on someone who doesn't end up being the kill target. Can we see if Astra ends up
going down?
Jaime going down as well. It seems like Team Umbra pretty decisively wins this first engage.
Yep, and the Aussies are already on the back foot. They're not going to try to continue to pressure. They know they're down 2, and they are going to wait until they can regroup. And it looks like Eelfluence not wanting to push that advantage. Maybe they learn their lesson behind the wall, or maybe they just feel like it's too early without LBs to really try to gank anyone at the moment or get away with that. Ooh, that was a good Goka. Landed on 2.
Yeah, it's a really rough position for the Australians right now, especially considering they have the Gunbreaker, or the enemy team has the Gunbreaker for that faster charging LB. It's almost up. White Mage is up.
In guard, Tomo has Gunbreaker LB. Jaime might pay for that early guard as Tomo lets it rip. Here it goes. Cerzarek goes down. Jaime getting bullied. Absolutely bullied. Aqua Hoshino might be the next kill target I'm seeing. Zeke in guard, they might be the kill target for the Aussies. Trying to prevent that Ninja LB from coming up. Yep, there it goes. Looks like the Aussies are taking back control of this fight, though. Tomo in Nebula, but basically being ignored by the Aussies while Venaire is being chased down.
God, it really just goes to show you just how coordinated these teams are, especially at the highest level. Even with an LB advantage, even with no LBs used, they're able to instantly delete 2 players on both teams and suddenly make the fight just on open a 4v4.
Is Sir going to get punished? Sir snuck out on the tatamis to try to grab to grab some coins to advance his LB, but got caught out as a result. It looks like he is going to survive and now has Dancer LB, but it was close. If the Aussies had, say, a Warrior, they would have bloated and really punished that move. But they did not, so here we are. Tomokote has LB about to come back up. Sir Zarek has LB. LB's all around, basically. Out goes White Mage LB. Will it be followed by a Dark LB? Yes, it will. And we do see Rojimbo going off. Will he kill anyone?
Oh my God.
He will kill many people. And it is unfortunately the Aussies who did not touch checkpoint. Oh, they just did. They managed to make it. They made it to 50. It is now 50-50. They might have enough time to get back up and stop the Crystal from advancing any further. Rake trying to collect some coins. And it looks like Emma going far ahead to try to catch him. Tomo following up the rear. They are trying to gank the White Mage. I don't think a Gunbreaker and Bard alone are going to be able to do it before the team is back up. Here they are. Outrips Hori-san's LB. Looks like a miracle of nature on Tomokote. They might be the kill target for the Aussies. Aussies need to get on that crystal, though. It's starting to tick down. It has been broken, and there has been progress past 50.
One for one.
Rauger Moons, Satan ripped, but missed and down.
Meanwhile, Zeke's Seitan is
meanwhile,
rolling with 3 seconds remaining. Can he get a reset? Horizon's going down, but is around the wall, not able to get that reset. Still with a numbers advantage onto Team Umbra. Just a huge play earlier on the on Team Umbra side, but right now we are on the point. Horizon going back in, still low mana. Meanwhile, on the point, Hime also low mana, also possibly going down, does go down.
right.
Team Umbra decisively gains control of the point and is looking to clean up kills.
Eelfluence is Venaire, being a wise woman, moving this crystal. Ozzy's not on it yet. It's going around the corner. Racket Moment, really the only one in position to slow it at this point. Not exactly where you want to be as a white mage with low mana and LB coming up. Meanwhile, Aqua has Dancer LB and is getting chased down.
The lower the Dancer goes, the harder it's going to be for that Dancer to rip that LB, especially considering they are the focus target and how long that LB animation is. Team Umbra's LBs themselves are almost coming up. Sir's almost got that LB to try to rip again that banger of an ult. We'll see whether or not they can get anything done. It seems like people are pulling back a little bit. Yeah. Tomo is ahead, really playing with this wall, playing with this line of sight in order to try to keep them from always being able to, be comfortable.
Fascinating positioning. Tomo absolutely knows they have the advantage. They do want to engage soon, but Tomo also wants them to come around the corner rather than fight in the death corner. And Jaime going in, getting bursted before they have the chance to get their Dark LB. Honestly, it was probably in the Aussies' interest to try to buy just another few seconds for Jaime to have that LB ready. Down goes Aqua. This is probably going to be it. And this will be probably the second round going to Eelfluence, bringing us to the third round. But it's not over yet. Let's see. Rauger Moon coming up with LB.
And that's the third chain to seal the game. It looks like they're going to be able to push it all the way in. 2 Dancer LBs in order to finally finish with Zeke starting that chain off. Just a beautiful performance on Team Umbra's side.
Yeah, that was absolutely a very smooth execution on that corner. And in fact, if other teams might want to just study that moment, because the execution by Tomo was just very, very good strategically, and just how they didn't force it until they were ready and brought the Aussies out of position by getting Jaime to come in.
God, it's explosive, and I just want to point out just how what this game looks like, especially given these team compositions. Even if you have an advantage, even if you have LB advantage, sometimes it just doesn't matter if your enemy team is just that coordinated. If their team is oriented so heavily around instant single target, 1 GCV burst, then both teams can instantly kill one person on both sides. Suddenly LB economy becomes a little less important because, if they manage to instantly delete someone before they're able to hit that limit break, suddenly, the power of the individual limit breaks may or may not become less valuable. Really makes the focus suddenly on Tomokote, who's got the fastest charging limit breaks right now, and it's the only difference between these two team compositions.
Right, and I was actually going to say, but the action kicked off there, but on that map, I almost would have given the advantage slightly to the Dark Knight, because there is that suck for those corners, and you combine that with the cleave of the Dancer, and that just adds up to a lot of cleave overall, as opposed to Gunbreaker, who can't set up the Dancer quite as efficiently. But Tomo made it work. Tomo absolutely made it work, and I think they intentionally very much tried to position so that Jaime couldn't be in those advantageous corners, and also tried to just break them before they had the chance to really set anything up. And they did a much better job of that in the second round than they did in the first round. And let's see how this goes.
This entire tournament, often topping damage charts, or at least coming close, no matter what game he's in. Just an absolute force of nature. Looks like both teams are deciding.
Has been top damage for his team in both matches. I just checked.
God, explosive performance out of this guy. Seems like both teams are starting to play
damage junction here going in.
Seems like both teams are starting to play it a little slow, which definitely puts an advantage onto Team Umbros with their faster charging LB, with that Gunbreaker LB. We'll see whether or not that turns into anything. He may use his guard in order to try to bait out some damage, manages to bait some damage, can go down afterwards with that major defensive use. Tomo forced to use the guard. Venaire also forced to use the guard. LBs are coming up.
Rauger Moon chasing Sir Zarek, but it looks like he might let off. Sir Zarek is just soaking the damage. I don't think he's going to go down for this yet until he gets further targeted. Down goes Zeke. Both ninjas basically going down as a trade. Venaire, Sir Zarek low on mana. Jaime goes down, though. I was going to say for a second there, it looked like Aussies had mana advantage, but then Jaime just got picked. So mana advantage still Aussies, but pressure advantage leaning to Eelfluence.
Yeah, it looks like Yeah, it looks like Under the Eelfluence manages to get control of this point. Just instant deletions on these ninjas. You can see just how much both teams value having the enemy ninja down. And just absolutely every game has been focus targets on both Ralgamoon and Zika. We're gonna see whether or not looks like a fight's breaking out.
Does Emma being the target. Out goes Dancer LB from Cerzeric and Aqua Hoshino. Just dance off once again, trying to counter each other. Will either of them survive? Cerzeric goes down. Aqua, having burned all their mana, probably about to try to retreat in Elixir. They are being chased down. They are in guard now, and it looks like they're getting that Elixir off safely. But for the rest of the fight, Jaime, no mana, has LB coming up. Might need to use it to survive here. Tomo and Venaire have that LB. They might go for the sync like they've been doing, but also in the interest of the Aussies to try to take Emma out before Emma's able to rip that Bard LB and give their team more LB economy.
Yeah,
it looks like a complete reset.
Yeah, it looks like Team Umbra has made the call to reset, especially look, Bard LB is going out, and it seems like they might be choosing to fight right here, right now. Someone's going on the point. Cerzeric is darting off the point.
Oh, hard pick. Tomo goes down, though. Unable to rip that Gunbreaker LB. Jaime rips that Dark LB in return.
Hard pick onto Tomokote and a return pick onto Hori-san, but...
Rake and guard. Rake might go down. Zeke is chasing him. Zeke is chasing him, but Zeke doesn't have the LB to finish. Looks like Rake might make it to the ground pound. Oh, dies right on
dies
it.
On top of it. That is tragic.
Yeah, that is indeed.
But a push advantage is currently onto Team Astra's side. It seems like Team Umbra currently under the Eelfluence needs to get back onto the point. It looks like Cerzeric goes down, but with a numbers advantage onto under the Eelfluence side. But LBs are coming up. It's anybody's game at the moment.
Venaire taking the Wise Crystal might be able to make it to checkpoint. Aussies are so preoccupied with surviving at the moment. It doesn't seem like they are focusing on the Crystal, which is gonna round the bend. Here they come. Jaime realizing it, maybe. They do have Dancer LB, Ninja LB, and White Mage LB.
7, 8, 9. Still 5% down.
Oh,
looks like that.
Edging closer. Out goes Tomo's LB. Out goes White Mage LB. Out goes Dancer LB. Everything's firing off.
Zeke still has his. Can he start the chain? It looks
Zeke,
like
whiff from Zeke.
Disaster from Team Umbra's side. Can they end up bringing this back? But with mana bars going down, they're running out of resources really rapidly and still don't have a percentage advantage. It's going to be a rough position, especially with only 1 minute left in the game. Venaire's going down almost instantly. He may low mana, but manages to get back to get that pot. Seems like going on to the point. Zeke is going back in order to try to get that potion.
Tomo about to pay for it.
Seems like Team Umbra has called the reset. They got one more fight, maybe, in order to try to make this work. Bard LB is popped.
Push. It looks like the Aussies are going to push. They're going to try to get to 50. They don't want to stop short of it.
Yeah, with only a 5% difference, I don't really blame them. With that, that is not a solid enough lead for anyone to be comfortable.
They don't quite touch it.
50. They don't quite touch it.
But they have 2 LBs, and one member of Eelfluence is still running in. Tomokote not quite there yet. Now they are. LB influence. Jaime has Dark LB. They do not rip it before they die. Probably in Miracle of Nature. Oh
god, it goes down. That's a huge pick. Cerzeric is almost going down. He's going to be able to get that LB off. It doesn't seem like he even needs to. Huge control at the almost very last minute by Team Umbra. All they got to do is bring it basically to the checkpoint. And the fact that Team Astra didn't actually get to the 50% means they don't even have to break.
Right, and Aussies coming in have strong LB. It's the LB economy is about equal. This is about to just be LBs flying. Out goes Dancer LBs from both sides. Everyone's stunned. White Mage is going. Ralgamoon hasn't rolled Satan yet. He has plenty of targets. Will he get it?
Zeke doesn't get his Satan rolling, but that gives a huge advantage onto Team Astra, especially with approach sheet advantage. Still sitting on that LB, see whether or not when he's looking to use it. Sir is the target. Sir goes down. The Satan is rolling.
There it is. That is why he saved Satan. He wanted to wait for resources to be expended. He knew if he went too early, high probability he was going to whiff.
And
just
that's
like the previous one.
That's 3.
Now
the third one is looking onto Zika. That reset is still there, and Tomo's about to go down to a 5 cleanup on Ralgamoon. Huge win by the Aussies.
Min play of the game there. Absolutely. Aqua Hoshino, Dancer. Top damage dealt, 0 Ks. 0 deaths, too. That's impressive.
even with a huge death, even with a relatively small death advantage, even with a huge damage advantage, even with these huge numbers showing a difference between how effective, how these numbers were pointing out, this was an incredibly close game at every single point. The Australians had to fight under the Eelfluence at every single moment, tooth and nail for this series. 2-0 to the Australians.
Absolutely incredible match, and just those fights where almost every LB was up at the same time. There's no way to call how that was going to go, and the Aussies did an incredible job of surviving that initial wave and holding back their biggest gun so that if they did make it through that, they could then clean up. That was huge.
God, this is CC at the highest level. Every single fraction, every single moment, the tiniest things can massively shift a team fight, massively shift the flow of a game, regardless of what your kill count is, regardless of how much damage your team has been doing. God, what an explosive set to close out our upper bracket for round 3.